Nigerian nationals are lamenting over the skyrocketing prices of cooking gas in the West African country. Gambia government and partners launched the 2022 gift receipt program as the rainy season approaches. And South Sudan and Turkey launched the first direct flight between the two nations. Well, this and more coming ahead on The World Today. Many thanks for joining us. This is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. Now, the surge in prices of cooking gas in Nigeria is forcing citizens to look for other alternatives which are too risky for them. Now, some women food vendors are now using charcoal and other cheaper means to continue their businesses, and this is affecting the gas trading industry. Health experts have, however, warned against the use of fossil fuel, saying it causes environmental pollution. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Fumes fill the atmosphere from this local food vendor's flames. Falila Tafolabi cooks 6 times a week, but has seen her profits dwindle following a rapid increase in the price of cooking gas. She has resorted to using firewood and coal as she could no longer afford costly cooking gas for her business.
I used to fill my gas every 3 days and I could spend 40,000 naira on gas alone monthly. Firewood and charcoal are less expensive compared to gas. A bag of charcoal is 5,000 naira and I always use it for 4 days. Firewood even costs far less and it can last a whole month. So imagine I take out money for gas, I would have no profit left.
According to the Nigerian Gas Association, the demand for cooking gas dropped to a record low. The national annual gas consumption hovers between 1.3 and 1.5 million metric tons, far from the federal government's annual target of 5 million metric tons. Samuel Ede has been a cooking gas dealer for over 20 years now. He complains that his business is suffering low patronage due to the rising cost of the commodity.
From January till now, sincerely speaking, it has been something else. It has been increasing every time. Every time you go to the company to refill your cylinders, the price will change. You buy it this week, next week you are buying a different price.
In less than 1 week, the price of cooking gas shot up by 6.7%, and many low and medium income earners like Falila Tafolabi are now tapping into fossil fuels like coal and firewood, which is seen as a cheaper alternative. But health experts have warned over the continued use of fossil fuels.
Quite unfortunate that with the economic situation of the country, people are ditching gas because it's too expensive. But the issue with using all those fossil fuels / mostly looking at wood or charcoal or even kerosene is that they directly cause air pollution. This air pollution releases a lot of fumes. These fumes, when inhaled by people, is essentially like inhaling any other form of smoke. Right? Once these particles settle in the lungs, they can predispose people to cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, pneumonia, and other health risks.
The average cost of refilling a 12.5 kilogram cylinder of cooking gas has risen to 9,500 naira, equivalent to about $22, which is the highest in 3 years. From the World Bank's projections, nearly half of Nigeria's 200 million population is poor, meaning that many more people like Falilat will turn to alternative cooking sources that are cheaper yet riskier.
Now, coming back home, President Adama Barrow on Wednesday presided over the swearing of Supreme Court and Court of Appeal judges and a commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commission at the State House in Banjul. Speaking at the swearing ceremony, the Gambian leader said his government is aware of the key role of the judiciary in the quest for a stable and progressive nation in upholding the rule of law and equality before the law. Aisatubi Kujabi has more details of that in this report.
The swearing-in ceremony of the newly appointed judges and IEC commissioner was held at the State House. The appointed judges are Justice Omar Njai as Justice of the Supreme Court of the Gambia, Nasise Salawada as the President of the Court of Appeal, and Madam Hadi Job as Commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commission. At the swearing-in ceremony at State House, President Barrow said he is confident that the appointees will deliver on their promise to Gambianize the judiciary.
This is a gratifying moment for me to preside over the swearing-in proceedings of an order set of eminent Gambian appointed to our apex court and the Independent Electoral Commission, respectively. The elevation of Justice Umar Njai now raises the number to 6 Gambian Supreme Court justices appointed by my government since 2017. Proudly also, we now have a female Gambian as President of the Court of Appeal in the person of Nasise Sallah Wada. There is no doubt that we have delivered on our promise to Gambianize the judiciary, which is the only way to minimize our dependence on external judges for the operations of our judiciary. Similarly, we expect Madam Hadi Job's appointment as Commissioner of the Independent Electoral Commission will add value to the work of the Commission.
Justice Omar Njai, the newly appointed Supreme Judge, thanked the President of the Judicial Service Commission and the Office of the Chief Justice for the trust and confidence reposed on them in appointing them.
First and foremost, I wish to most sincerely thank Your Excellency, the President of the Republic, for once again accepting and acting on the recommendations of the Chairman and members of the Judicial Service Commission and appointing my humble self and the Honorable Justice Nasise Salawada to the Superior Bench of the Judiciary, and this time as a Justice of the Supreme Court and the President of the Court of Appeal, respectively. In so accepting and acting on the JSC's recommendations, Your Excellency has once again amply demonstrated your strong democratic credentials, respect for the provisions of the Constitution, and your undoubted belief in and commitment to the independence of the judiciary as the third arm of government.
Chief Justice Hassan B. Jallow lauded the appointment of the judges as addition to the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal, respectively. Justice Jallow said the appointment of the 2 senior judges is part of plans filling up the existing vacancy in the judiciary system.
I begin by thanking His Excellency, the President of the Republic, for acceding to the recommendations of the Judicial Service Commission for the elevation, respectively, of the Honorable Justice Omar Njai from the Court of Appeal as a Justice of the Supreme Court, and the elevation of the Honorable Justice Salawada as President of the Gambia Court of Appeal. I'd like to seize the opportunity also to congratulate their 2 lordships for their elevation. Very well deserved. Both of them bring a lot of experience to their new positions, a lot of judicial experience as lawyers, and I'm sure they will add value very much to the 2 positions that they have been appointed to. Their elevation is part of the process of filling up the existing vacancies in the judiciary, and it's a process that will be continuing. In the next few months, we are looking forward to more appointments at the level of the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal.
The 3 new appointees took 3 oaths of office, of allegiance, and of secrecy and swore to abide by the laws of the country. For Eyeafrica News, Aissatou Kujabi.
Still on some legal matters, Abdoulaye Tambadou, former board chairman of Gambia Petroleum, on Monday told the High Court that following a fuel shortage that once hit the country, attacks international oil trade threatened not to bring petroleum products into the country unless their balance is paid. Mr. Tambadou was testifying in an 8-count charge of economic crimes trial involving the former general manager of Gambia Petroleum company, Sehu Jammeh, and the former operation manager, Lamin Gassama. Mafuji Sise has the details in this report.
Testifying before Justice Hadi Rachel, Mr. Tambadou told the court that sometime in October 2021, Star Oil Company and other international traders raised some queries about their missing product at the depot. He said also received a letter from one Ibrahim Jai on behalf of the Star Oil Gambia, leading him to summon an extraordinary meeting in which Pura was invited to dig into the allegations raised by Star Oil Gambia. Mr. Tambadou said in that board meeting, Pura explained the inspection report while Ibrahim Njai's letter was read out, and one Abdurrahman Barrow, managing director of Star Oil Gambia, explained the rationale of their letter. He said Sehu Jammeh was asked to explain the status of stuff by both Pura and letter of Star Oil, noting that the first accused person denied that there was missing stuff at the depot and explained that the reason for the fuel shortage was because there was always a practice to lending stock to oil marketing companies who have confirmed deliveries of petroleum products. He said as far as he knows, the storage agreement did not allow lending to the oil marketing companies. Mr. Tambadou said he understands that there was complete hold for both petrol and diesel as both quantities were completely withdrawn, and this came to his notice upon public outcry of petroleum products. According to Mr. Tambadou, he received a call from Mr. Barrow of Star Oil informing him of the visit of the State Intelligence Services, and upon receipt of the call, he also called Sehu Jammeh, but Mr. Jammeh still denied that there were no missing fuel products and said that the reason for fuel shortage was because of international traders refusing to bring petroleum products as a result of the new pricing introduced by the government. Tambadou told the court that at this point he believed in what Mr. Jammeh told him on phone, as there was a price structure change by the government. He further informed the court that after receiving a call from the Director General of Pura and Star Oil Gambia on the missing petroleum shortage, he summoned a meeting to hear from the former General Manager of Gambia Petroleum, Sehu Jammeh, who again denied the allegations and said the shortage was caused by lending balance. Former chairman of the Gambia Petroleum Board told the crowded court that a meeting between the former Minister of Trade, Sidou Keita, and others, the international trader, disputed what Sehu Jammeh said as the reason for the fuel shortage and the negative balance, and requested for the settlement of balance or stuff before bringing petroleum products into the country. Tambadou said when the ADAX officer made that assertion, he was requested to formalize the claim to refer to how the difference in volume was arrived at and the price of these products. He said at this point, ADAX officer was also asked to provide the format of the bank guarantee that they require to bring petroleum product into the country, and this was submitted to the Gambia Petroleum Board. He said the board at this point invited both the former general manager, Sehu Jammeh, and operations manager, Lamin Gassama, and their deputies to reconcile the petroleum products, but the reconciliation did not tally with the claim from the traders, and both accused persons were not able to indicate the final figures of the traders and the oil marketing companies. He said this warranted the board to constitute a lead reconciliation meeting with the former trade minister, Sidou Keita, Sehu Jammeh, and Lamin Gassama, adding that during the first meeting at Pura, Sehu Jammeh told them that he had stock figures in the depot and was allowed to go to the depot with the second accused person, Lamin Gassama, and the security personnel and Pura representative, Mr. Cisse, but the reconciliation proved that there was no accurate record kept, and this warranted the task force by government to do the investigation and do the necessary action. The former Ports Authority boss, said the former general manager, Sehu Drame, sit in every board meeting and serve as the intermediate between Gam Petroleum and the board. According to him, the relationship between Gam Petroleum and international traders is based on storage relationship, whilst the relationship between the local oil marketing companies is based on throughput facilitations. For Eyeafrica News, I am Mafuji Sise.
Moving on, elsewhere in the continent, employment rate has significantly increased in South Africa despite the global economic crisis. Several sectors such as trade, manufacturing and mining industries are among the biggest job providers in the country. A quarterly labor force survey reveals that about 8 million South Africans are without a job during the fourth quarter of the year, despite the positive job creation. Let's have more details of that in this report.
The drop in unemployment rate here in South Africa is the first in 2 years. While it's quite marginal, it's good news for many. The biggest job gains of 281,000 were recorded in community and social services. This was followed by the manufacturing sector, which gained 263,000 jobs. Then the trade sector employed 98,000 more people. The mining sector also managed to gain 36,000 jobs in the quarter under review.
Always, trade, construction and agriculture tend to have a higher employment share relative to their share of GDP in terms of nominal terms. Their contribution to GDP in nominal terms tend to be lesser than what they contribute in employment.
South Africa was hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic, and since July 2020, the number of the jobless has been rising steadily. The quarterly labor force survey shows that there are almost 8 million unemployed people here in South Africa during the first quarter of the year, despite the overall decline in the joblessness rates.
Now, when we look at those that are unemployed, that is the 7.9 million plus the 3.8 million of our discouraged work seekers, and another 800,000 who have not been searching for employment for other reasons other than discouragement, but who would otherwise have taken employment had it been available. We come to 12.4 million people in the expanded sense. That is the expanded definition of unemployment, which returns an unemployment rate of 45.5%.
Young people remain vulnerable in the labor market, with only 244,000 gaining employment in the first quarter of the year. The quarterly labor force survey is a household-based sample survey which records the labor market activities of individuals between the ages of 15 and 64.
From the report there in South Africa, coming back home, the government of the Gambia, through a support from the World Bank, funded project titled Gambia Inclusive Resilience Agriculture Value Chain Development Project towards the handed over a consignment of high-quality certified seeds to the Director of the Department of Agriculture for onward delivery to farmers through the Regional Agriculture Directorates. Now, speaking at this ceremony, the Director General of the National Seeds Secretariat, Mr. Moro Manga, highlighted the importance of these seeds, saying it will enhance and put agriculture in a strong position.
The national seed industry shall be driven by a comprehensive national seed system that comprises variety development, adaptation, release, seed production, seed quality control and certification. An established and well-functioning national seed system will facilitate availability of seed of improved cultivars to crop producers in right time and condition. We are, however, of the opinion that the eventual attainment of comprehensive national seed system will place the agricultural sector in a strong position to be able to minimize the negative impact of climate change and the associated dangers of weather failure and other emergencies that may disrupt crop production, as has been experienced in the past. Hence, the need for partners in the development process of a sustainable seed system is highly imminent in the sharing of best practices for the management of and supply of good quality seeds, a key input in crop production. Once again, may I renew my thanks and appreciation to World Bank, TPSU, and all key stakeholders for providing technical and financial support in launching these very important activities in our quest for building a sustainable seed system for the Gambia. Once again, and on that note, I wish all my esteemed farmers a very fruitful season. Thank you very much.
Gambia's Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali, also hails the timely handing over of the seat, noting that his ministry has started a program of modernization the country's agricultural sector. Here's the minister speaking.
The handing over ceremony of this much needed agricultural input we are witnessing could not have come at a better time, when the ministry as a sector has commenced its transformation agenda of modernizing agriculture as enshrined in the extended National Development Plan and the sector policy, namely the second generation Gambia National Agriculture Investment Plan, Food and Nutrition Security, GNAP 11, the Gambia Agriculture Transformation Program, and the Agriculture and Natural Resource Policies. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this procurement and subsequent handing over of this input is not only relevant to today's global agriculture and rural development challenges, but I personally find it well attuned to my sector development challenge, where quality seed to maintain our genetic resource cannot be overemphasized. Good quality seed, as alluded to by our seed scientists from the National Seed Secretariat and other experts, is the beginning of the development of any agricultural value chain, without which the farmer will not only continue to experience low yield, but also lost in genetics.
Gambia's Minister of Agriculture, Dr. Demba Sabali, speaking there, and we will bring you more details of the event in our subsequent news editions. And with that, we would now take a break and come back shortly. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is the World Today News Bulletin on Eyeafrica TV, live from our studios in Banjul. And once again, many thanks for joining us. Now, Petroleum Minister Abdoulaye Diop has commenced a familiarization visit to Gambia Petroleum and General Manager Service Storage Facilities at Maninari. However, the former General Manager and Operation Manager of the company, Sehu Drame and Lamin Gassama, are currently entangled in a 8-count economic crime charges trial before the High Court in Banjul. Mafuji Sise tells us more of that in this report.
Minister Diop had the first stop at the GPS storage facility at Mandinaring, where the commercial manager, Mr. Mohammed Taraf, take the entourage through various facilities and offices at the GPS. The company is just 4 months old.
It's not really, you're not looking to satisfy a regulator. You're looking to make sure that you can survive and make sure that you can return your investment in about 3 to 5 years in our case. So if something breaks, it's not just obviously an environmental issue or anything. It just, even if you think of us as evil people, it's still in our self-interest to make sure that things work out well. But besides that, the things that keep us up at night are safety and environment, because we have a community nearby, the Mandinari community. We rely on them. A lot of our staff live in Mandinari. it makes zero sense for us to be a bad actor in this community.
The minister also had a stop at the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility just a few distance away from the GPS. However, the minister had a long discussion with the staff who took him on a conducted tour of the area and informed him of some of their challenges, including unavailability of a firefighter vehicle.
And as you saw, the board is actually meeting as we speak, so that they deal with the issues. We have brought up a number of issues to the attention of the board chair and the managing director. There are certain infrastructural improvements that they need to do, as explained by the managing director. They are doing the pipes, the lines, to the mooring point. This is work which is in progress, and we have been reliably informed that by maybe after June, maybe June, July, August, the work will be completed, and that will have a redundancy in the supply line from the vessel to the facility.
The general manager of the Gambia Petroleum Facility, Yahya Jammeh, made a brief explanation of the facility to the entourage.
We all know there was a time when the company faced a lot of difficulties. However, those challenges are being gradually tackled. GP, that is Gambia Petroleum, is a private limited company with about 75% ownership of government institutions, namely Social Security, Gambia Ports Authority, the GNPC, and then there is also private owners, private shareholders, that's Star Oil, and I think Minister of Finance, that's the part of government. So the only private there is Star Oil.
The depot supervisor, Lamin Toure, told Minister Joe that the Gambia Petroleum Storage Facility has 5 tanks of gas oil, which takes 20,000 metric tons, 2 tanks of gasoline, which takes 10,000 metric tons, 4 tanks of well oil, totaling 15,000 metric tons, 2 tanks of kerosene, totaling to 5,000 metric tons, and 2 tanks of liquid petroleum gas of 1,000 metric tons. The petroleum minister had served in various ministries positions, including the trade ministry under the former President Yahya Jammeh's government. He also served in key areas before being appointed by President Adama Barrow. For Eyeafrica News, I am Mafuji Sise.
Gambia's petroleum minister beginning a familiarization tour of institutions under his purview. Now, moving on, South Sudan and Turkey have launched a maiden direct flight between the two countries. Authorities say this is expected to further cement bilateral cooperation between Juba and Istanbul with a view of widening their trade activities. The Turkish airline will travel to South Sudanese capital 3 times a week. Here's more details of that in this report.
The Turkish Airlines route is the first direct flight from Juba to Europe. It will fly from Istanbul to Juba 3 times a week.
Our flights to Juba, the capital and the largest city of South Sudan, will help Turkish and South Sudanese trade, business, and cultural ties. Nationals of this beautiful country will have the excellent connectivity advantage to Europe, Asia, and Americas with Turkish Airlines.
Many business people in South Sudan import goods from Turkey. Clothes are one of the main imports. South Sudan's government says the flights will open new avenues for bilateral cooperation between the two countries.
With enhanced connectivity between Juba and Istanbul, I welcome Turkish companies, big and small, to start an operationalization in South Sudan by investing here. Our investment laws are good, and South Sudan is friendly to countries like Turkey.
The government says the direct flights will make travel cheaper and easier for South Sudanese people with families in Europe. The government is also urging South Sudanese people to use the advantage of Turkish Airlines cargo to export their produce to Europe. South Sudan depends on oil money to fund more than 98% of the government's budget, and it says it wants to diversify the economy by encouraging its nationals to invest in service and production industries.
And that report there is coming from the South Sudanese capital, Juba. And to our final story now, because where more than 7 million Somalis, including women and children, are in dire living conditions triggered by the devastating drought that hit the country. Now, the newly elected president recently visited the affected area where people are calling for support from the government and humanitarian organizations. The UN Humanitarian Agency warns that the situation could be more severe if remedial measures are not put in place. Here's more details of that in this report.
Habiba Ali is among hundreds of farmers displaced by the devastating drought in Somalia. For the last 4 months, she and her 8 children have been living in this camp for the internally displaced in Baidoa, with no proper shelter, limited food and even water.
We urgently need mosquito nets and tents because we don't have shelter as well as clothes. Our condition is very dire. The small contributions we get during the day are not enough. We therefore call for support from the government and aid agencies.
The situation is the same across the camp, with the women and children being the most affected. To address the situation, President Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud made his trip to Baidoa his first one since taking office, and he appealed for swift international humanitarian assistance. The Special Envoy for Drought Response, Abdurrahman Abshakur, has been tasked by the government with coordination of those efforts.
Baidoa is the mostly where the people who are mostly affected come and arrived recently, closer to the half of those who are displaced from drought are here in Baidoa. So Baidoa is more important than other places, and that's why we are here today, come as the first field visit to in Baidoa, and we call international community to double their effort and support Somali people in this difficult time.
UN humanitarian agencies say the coming months will be very crucial as far as response to drought is concerned, and they are calling for more funding.
7.1 million people are going to be affected by this drought situation before the end of this year. And unless we scale up and step up our response, unfortunately, many people, including at least 330,000 children, will perish before the end of the month of June. So that tells you how dire the situation is. With the limited resources that we have only been able between the months of January and April to reach 2.4 million out of all those in need of humanitarian assistance.
The main reason why Somali government is giving special attention to this part of the region as far as drought response is concerned is because this is agricultural rich region that has been feeding this country for years. But in the past 4 years, these farmers you see behind me in makeshift have not harvested due to delayed rains.
Well, we only hope and urgent actions would be done to help, of course, support the affected people. And from that report there from Somalia, we finally bring this news edition to an end. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on Eyeafrica.tv. But for now, many thanks for the privilege of your company. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.